Hey, it's Chris. The Apple event is come and gone, and a lot of people I know were like, that was disappointing. Apple events are getting boring. Well, I noticed several kind of interesting details that a lot of people probably don't know about, so I'm gonna kind of round them up, starting with the fact that the 15 Pro Max is actually 10% lighter than the 14 Pro Max. How can this be when there was that viral meme going around talking about all the money that Apple spent on R&D research only to be able to make the iPhone 1 gram lighter this year? Well, that meme was fake. It was false. Funny, but false. As Neil points out here in this tweet, and then a reply to a reply of the tweet, the 15 Pro Max is 221 grams, where the 14 Pro Max was 240. So that titanium, it's not just for looks or for strength. It is actually noticeably lighter. Now here's a detail that's kind of funny. You have to long press on the new action button on the Pros in order to make it do something. But you don't have to long press on the volume button still. Those are clicks. Now, the reason why you have to long press on the action button is so that something doesn't accidentally happen. But then why don't we have to do that for the volume? Kind of a weird thing. Now, I don't know if you spotted this in the photo in the keynote, but see that HEIF Max up in the top right of this iPhone? This is something that's pretty cool, and it's cool even if you're not upgrading to the Pros this year. If you have a Pro from last year, the 14 Pro, you're still gonna get to take advantage of this really great new feature. What does that mean? It basically lets you take full advantage of the megapixels available to you without having to leave the native camera app. Now, by this point, you've heard about the new telephoto lens on the Pro Max with that 5x optical zoom, but what you may not be aware of at this point is that you also have a 25x digital zoom. Now, of course, this is the kind of thing that you only use if you have to. But if you need to get maximally close to your subject now, you have the option to punch in that much more. Now, here's something that's actually pretty interesting. Apple announced roadside assistance via satellite in collaboration with AAA. So let's say you get into some non-emergency car trouble and you don't have cell service. Well, now, thanks to the iPhone's satellite capabilities, you're actually gonna be able to connect with AAA and get some roadside assistance wherever you are. If you just bought some new AirPods Pro, now is the time to take them back. Why? Well, the iPhone just got USB-C support, so Apple's pushing all their products in the direction of USB-C. For now, they're actually moving towards a wireless future, but the AirPods Pro lineup just got an updated case that charges with USB-C as well. The nice thing here is you can use one cable to charge multiple Apple devices, including your AirPods Pro, but you're not gonna be able to buy a standalone case to update your old AirPod Pros. So sadly, the new case is not sold separately. Now here's something crazy. You can play a console level game on your iPhone now thanks to the new chip inside the Pros. Specifically, Assassin's Creed Mirage is the first console level game to run on iOS. And what we're not talking about is cloud gaming here or some kind of mobile version of Assassin's Creed. This is a console level game. So kind of a big deal, and for a lot of people, a real reason to upgrade for that chip specifically. One under the radar detail I sort of regret to tell you about is that it really does exist. There really is a USB-C to Lightning adapter being sold by Apple for $29. And while we're at it, you know what else is kind of crazy? This is a detail you might have missed. That's the fact that the 15 Pros support USB 3 speeds out of the box, but you know what's not in the box? USB 3 speed cable. The cable that comes with it is USB 2 speed. Now, of course, if you want to maximize the transfer speeds on your new Pro, like if you're an actual Pro, Apple does sell a Thunderbolt 4 cable for you, 1 meter long, for $69. Ouch, but maybe necessary, especially if you want your ProRAW and ProRes photos and videos to transfer up to 20 times faster. And just before we get any further, before all the comments come in, this thing in the background, I'll link it up for you. You don't even have to ask. You know what else I'm gonna link up for you? My productivity course, Learning to Be Productive, just as useful as it's always been, but now accompanied by my brand new Learning to Build a Successful Side Hustle course. If you wanna get more done in the Apple ecosystem, or you wanna bring in some extra money on the side, and you wanna learn these subjects from somebody you can trust, I'd love to help you out, and I'll just let you know, we have some payment plan options there as well, which people have already begun taking advantage of. Now here's a detail I'm sure a lot of people missed. That's the fact that the new Pros are the first phones to support Thread. Thread, of course, is the open source smart home protocol, which could potentially enhance your home app integrations and your device-to-device connectivity. So Apple just kind of threw that up on a slide, along with the fact that the Pros are also gonna support Wi-Fi 6E. Now here's a big one, and I mean a big one. iCloud Plus just got a huge update. You're gonna be able to go up to 12 terabytes of cloud storage through Apple for $60 a month now. So previously, you could go up to about 2 terabytes on the top tier things. And I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, Chris, what would anybody use all of that storage for? Well, probably for things like storing your HomeKit secure video footage. Pretty soon, your iCloud monthly storage is gonna surpass the payment that you make for the devices you're using themselves, am I right? If you're looking for an eSIM only phone, you're still only gonna be able to find that in the US. Outside of the US, iPhones are still gonna have a physical SIM tray. Why is this news? Well, Apple removed the SIM card tray from all iPhone 14 models in the US last year. Let's talk about Double Tap coming to the Apple Watch. I bet what you didn't realize is that that's preparing us for a future where we are the hardware, particularly with the Apple Vision Pro, of course. It's not just an accessibility feature that was available on Apple Watches for a while that Apple decided to mainstream. This is Apple giving us a glimpse into the future, a future where this is the mouse click. Something you might have missed is that you can now ask Siri for information about your health app data, which is actually kind of nice. So instead of having to dig through the actual health app, you can just ask your watch, how did I sleep last night? And it will be able to tell you. Of course, if you didn't sleep good anyways, you probably knew that. But the on-device processing for Siri is actually gonna be pretty convenient. At least for several common sorts of requests, the new Apple Watch isn't gonna have to reach out to the cloud in order to get some certain information processed, which is gonna be really nice. Here's something I wasn't expecting. Apple discontinued outright the MagSafe Duo and the MagSafe battery pack. I'm surprised because I use the MagSafe battery pack to this day, all the time. Maybe Apple decided, hey, instead of just sticking a new port in there, we're just gonna let the third parties who are already making some pretty good products continue to do their thing. Or maybe they've got something else in the hopper planned for later. It's just kind of weird because plenty of people out there would prefer to have official Apple products for something like a battery pack. Now here's something that's kind of weird. Apple actually is currently selling 3 different types of earpods. They're all the same except for the connector. There's a USB-C, a 3.5mm headphone plug, and a lightning connector. But it's just sort of weird for Apple to have 3 versions of any one product out on the market at a time. It's almost like if Apple sold 3 different sorts of AirPods Pro with different cases, with different connectors. Now here's something that's not exactly event related, but tangentially. Apple's releasing some new ringtones alongside iOS 17 RC, which on the one hand, it's nice to have something new, something fresh to choose from, right? There's several, and you might like some of them. Some of them seem kind of somber to me. But as my ears caught a glimpse of the previews, it's weird to me that there's such a ringtone sound. I felt like they were a little cliche, I guess, but that's just me. They sounded like something from 20 years ago in a way, updated, but old school. One detail I want to point out is that the new chip inside the 15 Pros is Apple's first Pro chip. Apple usually names their chip something like the A16 Bionic, but this is the A17 Pro inside the Pros this year, which makes me wonder, are they setting things up for a Max or an Ultra in the future? By the way, it's the chip itself that allows for that faster data transfer over USB-C and for the hardware acceleration and ray tracing for that realistic gaming. One thing that I almost didn't include here, but I'm gonna include it because I myself found it sort of un-Apple-like, was the screen in settings where you can change what the action button does feels very un-Apple-like to me. It's unlike any other screen inside any other Apple application. Now, I'm not saying that it's a bad interface. It's just weird because it feels like it doesn't fit. So I don't know if this is the beginning of some new design language and some new people took over in the design department and we're gonna be heading in a different direction, or if it really is just meant to be sort of a one-of-a-kind, one-off experience within the settings app that's just kind of cool, amps it up a little bit, isn't so plain and vanilla. I don't know. So there you go, some interesting facts that maybe you didn't know about. If you have some other interesting facts, I'd love for you to leave some comments, get that going down below. Don't forget to check out the new course. I'm so excited, people are already getting in there. It's so good. It's the complete blueprint from somebody who's built many successful side hustles. It really walks you through everything that you would need to know. Thanks for hanging out today. Like I said, review units are on the way, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to check out the Clips channel because I'm gonna have so much more coverage over there of this and many other Apple related things. By the way, why are you not subscribed to the Clips channel? There's so much good content over there. All right, that's it for this one. I'll catch you in the next one. Later.